and I'm going to declare a speech on my topic, that is the synthetic fiber and plastic. And now the question arises in our mind that what is the first fiber? The fiber is a long and thin thread with that is called the fiber, and the fiber are of two types. First is the natural, second is the synthetic. Natural fiber we obtain from the plant and animal, and the synthetic we made in the laboratory. And the fibers are made up of polymer, and polymer is made up of a small molecule that is known as the monomer. And polymer are of two types. First is homopolymer, and second is copolymer. Homopolymer is a polymer which is made up of same repeating unit, and the copolymer, it is made up of two or more than two different repeating unit. And the process of making a copolymer is called the copolymerization. And we can classify the polymer on the basis of their structure. First, the link chain polymer. In this the polymer is the monomer get joined to form a polymer in a long series. And then second is the branch linked polymer. And in this the polymer monomer get joined to make a linear thread with branches which is of different size. And third is the cross linked polymer. In this the monomer get joined and make a 3 dimensional structure. And these have generally the low tensile, means rigid, and high tensile capacity. And now I am going to declare a thing about the vulcanization. In this we pass the natural rubber from the sulfuric acid, and it firstly get discovered by the Charlie Goodyear in the 1839. And it was the big discovery because after this the rubber, that is much more flexible and much for it means it live for much time, that get discovered. And after this that I'm going to say about the some synthetic fibers. First, the nylon is a synthetic fiber that get made in the time of Second World War. And it is made up of made by the coal, water and air. And the polymer of nylon fiber is the polyamide, and the monomer is amide. Some of the properties of nylons are: it is a stronger, light in weight. It light in weight. It get a strong when wet, and it absorbs less water. And it come in use to making the fish net and raincoat, brush, toothbrush bristles, and many more things. And second is the rayon. Rayon is made up of the tree's pulp. When we pass the pulp from the sulfuric acid, it it becomes the rayon. It is also called the artificial silk, and it is much durable than natural silk, and it is much stronger also. It used in the making of bandages, tire cords, and and cloths also. And now I am going toward the polyester. It is we call the polyester the dacron and terylene. These are two known as the polyester. And the polymer and the monomer of this is the ester. And the property of this can blend with the cotton and wool, and it is much stronger. And then the use is it the pad, which is much known polyester, is used for making the bottle, utensil, and many more things. And the turlin is used for the seal of boats, which is used, which is helpful for the transportation firstly. And now I'm going toward the plastic. Then what is a plastic? Plastic not a fiber, but it is, we are aware of this. The plastic is of two types. First is the first is the thermoplastic, and second is the thermostatic plastic. Thermoplastic in can be mold again and again and can be reshaped. But in the thermostatic plastic, we can do we can give a shape once, because after when we want to mold it, then it will get break, and that's why we get the hard thing mm, of the plastic, mm, and that is much useful for us. And some of the plastic are not useful for us, just like the plastic which use in the polythene bags and thermostatic plastic. And there is the thermoplastic, and there is the many of the plastic came. For example, the PVC, it used in the making of pipes and in the bottle and in many things. Uh, and last is the backlight. It last is the backlight, and I'm knowing just only. And last is the black backlight. It is the thermostatic plastic. It used in the making of electric switches, and it is a good insulator. And that's all from my side. Thank you. And now I am going to give this mic to my senior.
Uh, Hello everyone. It was a wonderful presentation, and I am Ankit in front of you. And the topic that I've decided to speak upon is, something which is very much relatable to you people, in common life. And the topic is digital privacy. What is, digital world, and how privacy is linked to it. I mean, we are living in a world where everything is, on our fingertips. We want everything with the speed of light. Whether it is food, entertainment, any sort of luxury that you want, goods or services that you want to access, internet is there. So everything is literally on your fingertips, just a click away. And living in such a fast paced world, digital privacy becomes a very important, it's a talk of the town today. If you see all across the world, there are advanced economies like Europe, United States, and there are several other countries. They have taken this issue seriously, because there is now, there is a popular saying that data is the new oil. So if we have a sufficient data about you, I can predict your next move. And that is how the world is functioning today. There is AI to distinguish between the data which is valuable to them and which is redundant. They have technology to separate chaff from the wheat. So that is how the world is functioning today, and we are part of this world today. And internet obviously is now an integral part of our lives. So in this, in such a world, digital privacy becomes a very important thing, because what you are putting on internet is going to be used for you, maybe for target advertisement, maybe to harm your reputation, maybe to influence you several other ways. So if we are living in such a world, then we must be conscious of what sort of data we are providing, our service providers. Because see, whatever you put on internet, whether it is a comment or a pic or any information like your date of birth, where you are visiting, your location, internet never forgets. Fine. So whatever you put over there, it stays there. So in such a complicated digital world, we must be conscious of what we are doing on internet. And to keeping that in mind, there are several governments across the world. They are coming up with a data protection bill to protect your data, that your data should not be used to provide services that you don't want. For example, if you are ordering food from these platforms, famous platforms that you know, like Swiggy and Zomato, you put your address over there, fine. So they can use that address, they can process that information to give you targeted advertisements. So in such a world, privacy is very important, because if every time you are being watched by someone, especially these tech giants like Google, Amazon, or there are several such giant tech companies out there, and they are keeping eye on each and every move that you take. So living in such a world, we must be careful while sharing this data that we consume, because in India still this awareness is a bit away. People are not very conscious when they share any information on internet, whether it is these platforms or social media sites. So in such a world, we've seen in recent past there are several debates over digital privacy, that how much freedom we should give to these service providers, how much data they are allowed to access. Fine, there are platforms, they ask you for unnecessary permissions, like your gallery permission, your location. There are services they don't need it, but they just want these permissions. So that is why they ask for such permission, so that they can sell your data to third party, and they can use it for their purpose. For example, if you are ordering food very frequently, then this particular service provider from where you are ordering your food, they have your data, and then they will sell this data to some other firm. They will use that data to provide you targeted advertisement. For example, if you're buying frequently online food, it means that there are chances of falling you ill relatively high. Fine, so they will sell this data to these insurance companies. They will start showing you these targeted insurance advertisements. So if you don't want such things to happen, then you have to be careful when you put such data on it, and when you click those permissions, you are in hurry to just reach to the service a particular app provides. You just click yes and reach to the final. So you have to be conscious when doing it. Although still that awareness is some time away from us, we Indians do not care much when we access any information or any service online. So we have to be. In recent past, even in Indian government brought a data protection bill, and after a year or two contemplation over it, they decided to withdraw that bill, because they saw some mismanagement over there. The rules that we are making is not very much connected to the people, so that's why they decided to withdraw that privacy. So overall, the point I am trying to make is that we are living in a digital world, and we have to be careful while sharing our information, because privacy matters a lot. And just 2019, even Supreme Court of India has put internet in our fundamental right. In Article 19, that internet is now our fundamental right, because it gives you access to information, it helps you to earn livelihood, and there are so many plethora of things that you do with the help of internet. So there are several provisions which is being made with each passing year. But when you compare India with rest of the Western world, India lags behind. We are still not very concerned about the data that we share, and government is taking access, but that is still not enough for that. So this is all for a kind of awareness that I am trying to convey all of you, that be careful whatever you are putting information on internet, because internet never forgets. So this is all from my side. Now I'd like to give over Rahul, my good old friend.
Okay, good evening friends. This is Rahul, and today is presentation session, and today I present the topic self-management. So in this topic there are some topic I will explain one by one. So the first topic is self-confidence. So it is very important for everyone life, and self-confidence is always come out as a winner. So, and we must understand the difference between self-confidence and overconfidence, because if you see, the self-confidence is the people who can get your the self okay Okay, the self confidence is people who can only think about I will have to learn, and I can once upon a time I can get a revision. But the you can say the overconfidence people, they can think that I will learn anyone, and I will directly go and the speech any, you can say the any types of thing he can done, and it is also go in the failure side, and this is the sense of the false identity of confidence. And the next is the self control. So it is also very important to get the person emotion and desire, because you can say there are two types of people. First is the, you can say the, a person who can get under the pressure, and he can work very frequently, and he cannot show their emotion and other things. But you can see the other person, they can show, they can under the pressure they can work, and they can also show your emotion, what they can feel and what they can think. So this type of thing they can do. And the next is the, you can say the teamwork and cooperation. So it is the very important when we are doing the any teamwork cooperation, like any project we have do with your friends and other things you can do. You can think your team member you will not support you, so of course this project will be not done by only yourself, because this is also important for your friends. If you see, in one match there are football team, if I talk about there are two players in a side, and if your team will not cooperate you, they can only think that the ball, only the goal of the football. So this, in this way the match will be of course lose, and the other team they can cooperate with each other, and they can of course win the match. So this is the teamwork cooperation. And the second is the making friends. So this is the very important for everyone life, because if we get more friends, then we have to get a opportunity to, we can discuss to each other, and we can also, you can say the, learn something with each other. So if we get more friends, then we have to opportunity to success in your life, because if our friends is also help for our success. And the next is the willpower. So willpower is also important for everyone life. If you see a person who will be a strong willpower, they can achieve anything. And if your willpower is not strong, then you not achieve anything, because you can see a person who can a strong willpower, they can set their high target, and they can achieve there, and they can also do their best for achieve something. And but the some people who can work hard to the go there on the top of everyone, and they can also work hard. And the last is the addiction. So addiction is very bad thing for everyone life, because if you addict with the other bad things, then your life will be fully destroyed. And suppose, yes, there are so many types of person, they can addict with the study, and they can addict with their goal. It is good, but if you see, there are so many people who can addict with the bad thing, like there are so many movies they can watch, and they can addict with the like drugs and other smoking types of thing, they can addiction. And right now there are people who can get the more addicted with the phone and the online game. So this is not good for our health and our future generation. So this is all about my side. Thanks. And the next person who is Satyam.
So, good evening, guys. I am Satyam Kumar, and my topic for presentation is adaptation in plants. It is a very important topic if you want to study the biology chapter very easily, or you want to make a base in bio. So, in this chapter, I want to tell you about two things. First is the climate, and second is the adaptation. So, first, I will start from what is climate. So, climate is the average weather condition of a particular place with respect to time. Like, take an example that a person is living in Africa near the equator. The climate of that place is hot. If you take the average condition, that is hot, all days are hot. But when you go toward the polar region, the temperature will decrease and you will feel cold, and the average weather condition will be less than less than 0 in that polar region. So this is all about the climate. What is climate? And if the climate is extremely cold or extremely hot, so how can an animal survive there? So they have to develop a physical feature for their survival, and these physical features are known as adaptation. So I will tell you about adaptation of two areas. The first is the polar region and second is the tropical region. So I am starting from the polar region. So the area near the poles, the top of the earth, that's known as the polar region. And it is full filled with snow, white snow, and it is full with ice and glaciers. It is full of that, and because of that their climate is very cold, and you have to wear a very thick layer of cloth in your body if you want to survive. But how animals can survive? They have to adapt themselves in that condition. I can use a Hindi term, that dhalna. They can adapt themselves in that area. So how they adapt? What are the features that helps them to adapt there, survive there? So the main animals which you will find at the polar region, that's the first is polar bear and second is the penguin. The penguins are so cute and small birds. They are so cute. And I firstly tell you about that polar bear. So the polar bear are white enough and their fur are very white, which help them to hide in the snow, because a snow is white and he is also white. That's why it gets safe from the enemies. They can't identify the polar bear in the snow. So this type of adaptation is called camouflage. And second, which is the main, it has two furs. It has it has two fur of white color, which help him to protect to prevent the loss of heat and to keep himself itself warm. And the main thing is they have a thick layer of fats below the skin, which does like an insulator of heat, which not allow the heat to come out of the body and they not feel cold. And a main thing that is very important in that region, that's their claws. Their claws are so wide, like if I add my four hands, these big hands, then it is equals to the paw of the polar bear. And this helps him to swim in the water and catch its prey. So catch its prey, that's right. You have to They help him to swim faster in the water, and it help him to catch their prey. And it also help him to walk on the snow, like the surface area is big, so the body weight spread uniformly around the on the snow, and it help him to walk. The last thing that help to gain energy, which keeps it warm, that's the black skin. You will not realize that the polar bears have black skin, but they have. If you save the fur of that, they have black skin. And the black skin are a good black is a good absorber of heat, and they absorb it and they felt them warm. This is all about the polar bear. And the cutest one that I like, that's the penguin. So the penguin are the birds which can't fly but they walk. Their color is black and white. It is majority it is white, which help him nearly to hide in the snow. But they have a streamlined body shape, which help him to fast, to move very fast in comparison of that polar bear. It swims very fast to catch its prey, and it helps him to live there, to survive there. Now I talk about that. It's all about the polar region, and I am now talking about that the tropical region. So tropical region is the area near the. Thanks. I will tell you about that tropical in my next presentation. Now I want to hand over the mic towards the Ankit Bhaiya.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Aniket Kumar, and today I want to give the speech on procrastination. Procrastination is the action of delaying or postponing something. And before saying anything else, I want to say that this seems to be a motivational topic, but this is not going to be a motivational speech. I'll tell you the root causes or the root reasons for the question, why do we procrastinate things? And after listening to this speech, you will never ask the question how to stop procrastinating ever again. So listen carefully. We all say that I have much time, I can do this afterwards. Now let me rest a bit, or let me scroll through Insta Reels and make my mood so that I can study well. This is procrastination. We all know that this is not a good habit, but still it is our habit. And it is very common. Even Bill Gates, in one of his interviews, said that he had a very bad habit of procrastinating. He always left his work for the very last minute, and he said he had to change it at any cost, and he did so. But why do we procrastinate? Why don't we ever procrastinate scrolling through Insta Reels? Why don't we ever procrastinate playing video games? Why do we only procrastinate serious things? Well, there are four main reasons for this, and these four reasons are collectively known as the temporal motivational theories. And this theory is based on multiple researches and multiple studies. So these are scientific reasons, these are not any reason. But before starting with this theory, I would like to tell you one exclusive reason for procrastination. That is deadline. If you get any fixed deadline, then you all think that you all leave the work for the very last minute. You all think that I'll do it just before the timeline. So this is because you get a fixed deadline. But what if you don't get any deadline? Will you do the work immediately? No, my friends, the procrastination can go endless. Obviously, if you don't like the work. One research in a German university done on more than 1,000 people showed that procrastination can cause more stress, it can cause more depression, fatigue, and anxiety. Apart from these feelings, one more prominent feeling with it is the feeling of guilt. But the question here is, if we all feel guilty when procrastinating something, then what bloody hell do we do it again and again? So, the answer to this question is given by the same temporal motivational theory that I discussed earlier. This theory has four sub-theories in it. The first one is expectation theory. This states that if the chances of achieving a desired result or the desired reward is low, then your motivation of doing that work will also be low, and vice versa. For example, in a class, if an announcement is made that the student who ranks first will get 10 lakhs rupees, then the student who is already good in studies will study harder than ever and will always try to rank first that year. And the motivation of that student will be to the next level. But at the same time, if a student who is not good at studies, who is poor at studies, and if he thinks that his chances of ranking first is already like equal to zero, then he will definitely not study that much, and the motivation will also not be that much. The next theory is the need theory. This states that if the work that you are trying to do matches your needs, then the motivation of you to do that work will be higher. Like like the politician they have the need for power. And for that, if I say to any politician that do this and you will get votes, then he will definitely do that thing because he has that need. So he will be very motivated and he will do that work very happily. But once they get in power, once they think that their need is fulfilled, they won't work for public because they think that their need is fulfilled. They'll not be motivated to do the work for public. Now the next theory is cumulative prospective theory, and this is quite interesting. This states that the loss of a particular magnitude weighs higher than the gain of the same magnitude. This means that suppose I tell you do exercise and you'll get fit, you won't be that motivated to do the work. But if at the same time I say do this exercise or you will get diabetes, do this exercise or you can get heart attack in the next couple of years, you will definitely do the exercise. If I say do this work and you'll get promotion in your job, then you may not be motivated that much. But if I say do this job or otherwise you will be expelled out of your job, you will be jobless, you will be homeless, then you will definitely do that job. Now the last theory states that our mind is more motivated to do the work that gives us instant result rather than those work that give us result may be bigger but after a long period of time. So these were the four theories that is in the temporal motivational theory. And if you just understand these theories, then you will never do procrastination again, and you will do the job immediately. So thank you. With this, I would like to conclude my speech. Now I'd like to hand over my mic to Mr. Suraj.
Hi everyone, I am Suraj Singh Rathore in front of you today. I am here to present my topic. My topic is child labor. So let's start the topic. Child labor refers to the employment of children. Doesn't matter that way or work that deprives them their childhood and refers to their interferes with their attending the regular classes like school or colleges or regular duties, whatever there. And that is mentally, physically, or you can say socially or morally dangerous and harmful for them. In a village, it is common sight to see the children of poor families working in fields or elsewhere, you can say, contribute to the family business or their income. Yeah, some children are deprived or some children are deprived their education. And also that is the reason that they are suffering from that is that type of disease, you can say that. In a sense, child labor is open exploitation as it deprives education of children and pushes them into exploitative situation. And what is the harmful whenever they're doing that type of work in that type of hazardous space? You can say that the effect of working in that type of workplace in early age, or you can say that the risk of contracting occupational, you can say that diseases like skin diseases, disease of the lungs, cancer, or you can say that TB, etc., that type of disease. And it has been observed in a village, especially I want to say that, especially in a village side, representative of various industries lure children promises of jobs, and also you can say that wealth, bring them into where they are employed as a bonded labor in that type of factories. And also there is a fact about the children, they are working in that type of field as called household, and paid minimum wages and made to do work physically, you can say that maximum. And there is not a problem of all, you can say that. So how many countries are facing that type of problems, suffering that type of problems? I think the country who are under of list, you can say the developing countries like Nepal, India, or also Bangladesh, Algeria, and South African's country, you can say that they have the similar problem like a child labor. It is not problem of like it's a developing country problem, but you can say that it's also problem of developed country like that, like Russia, USA, and like European unions. You can say the European countries, they have that type of problems. Also, I can say that, but they have less than like our countries that type of problem. So, what our constitution says about that child labor? According to the Article 23 says about that like forced labor is prohibited in our country. And also Article 24 states that a children who is under of 14 years old cannot be employed in that type of like hazardous work. And also similarly Article 39 says about that the man, women, or also the teenager children will not be abused by anyone. You can say that. And also I want to mention that things like so what is the solution about that, how we will be reduce the percentage of child labor in our country? Forget the whole over country, but about I want to say what is the procedure to implement by the government or by us to reduce the percentage of child labor. So it's my opinion our government should create the awareness about illness whenever the children will go in an early age in that type of hazardous workplace or doing that type of work. It really you can say the harmful for us or harmful for them. And second thing I want to say about that, our government should create an environment, how, which type of environment? You can say the like our environment about the education, awareness of education, then the children will not go that type of workplace and doing that type of work. And also the government should give some money that type of their parents, because they have no money to feed or they have no money to give them and send to the school. So it's my humble request to them, government, they should create that type of environment. And also I want to mention that one thing, that the future of India is depend on children. So we should not cut the hand of the future of India. So we should give the chance, we should give the environment. So definitely child will be in a future as a role model of everyone, means can say others. So have a nice day. Thank you. I will hand over my mic, Amrish.
Hello everyone. My topic is freebies. Uh, my topic is freebies. Uh, we are hearing nowadays the term freebies, and recently the Prime Minister of India claimed that freebies are going to affect our economy in a very bad manner, and they are suggesting the youth that they should not fall into the trap of the oppositions. No positions, and then the CGI of India claimed that there should be a legislation that should look into the matter of the freebies. That's why That's why I want to say something about this topic, like providing free food or providing free nutrients to the poor is not a freebie. Like many poor people in our country has a ration card, and through which they get some foods, and ensuring the food to the poor is the duty of our government. That's why this is not a freebie. And like the scheme like Manrega and other schemes is not a freebie. That's why, and there is a thank you.
Hi all, this is Ravi. Today our presentation. Today our presentation session, and my topic is economics. All about economics is define what should be. What should be, not a terminology, not a such a idioms and phrase. What should be is define such of manner in economics terminology. And economics is not one country, one state, because economics is depend our such economical conditions, such our developed or non-developed state and non-state. It depend our economic conditions, and all about economics is a set of define the process of producer acceptancy and all accurate quarter way of no of economical conditions. And economics is a define the process of equilibrium in a scarcity, and all functions in scarcity relate to our economic conditions. And economic condition is developed such a developed country in US and all wolf countries such as Afghanistan and Israel, Philistine, and all wolf countries in define a manner of different situation, different condition in growth of such condition, such economic developed countries. And good manner of such a developed country is like to south such a western countries. And India is developed in 4 and 5 pillars in define economic conditions. First is a producer, and second is a supply and demand. Supply and demand regulate to our economic condition. Without supply and demand, not accurate our economic such a economic process and economic conditions. And all about my side, and then after new student.
So good evening everyone, myself Aditya in front of you, and today is our presentation session. So today I'm going to talk about Roman Empire. So as we all know that in the period between the birth of a Christ and the 1st century, there were only two empires who established their domination in some areas, in most of the areas of Europe, some areas of Asia, and some areas of North Africa. The two empires were, the first one was the Roman Empire, and then second one was Iran Empire. Roman Empire controlled the most of the parts of the north and south of the Mediterranean areas, but at the same time Iran controlled most of the part south to the Caspian Sea. And you can also say that the southern Arabic countries and also some part of Afghanistan. At that time, there were a competition between these two empires because they both want to make a domination in Europe. Now we will talk about some early phases of Roman Empire. Roman Empire was divided into two phases, the early phase and the late phase. Uh, the phase before the 3rd century falls in the category of the early phase, but the phase beyond the 3rd century falls in the category of late phase. If we compare between the Roman Empire and Iran Empire, you will feel that Roman Empire is more culturally diverse as compared to Iranic Empire. Because in Roman Empire, there were different kind of people belong to different communities were lived. But at the same time, in the Iran Empire, only the Islam-based people were present. The Roman Empire also have systematic government bodies, while the Iran Empire doesn't have such kind of systematic government bodies. Greek and the Latin was the most widespread spoken and written language in Rome. In the East, most of the people belongs to the wealthy families used to write and speak in Greek, while in the western area of Rome, most of the people used to speak and write in Latin. But in the middle of Mediterranean areas, such as I just forgot the name. It was be like Tripolitania area and Cyrenaica area, where people used to speak the language based on their regional differences. The regime of the Roman Empire was established by Augustus, who was the first ruler and the first emperor of the Roman Empire in 29 CE. People don't consider him as a ruler or as an emperor. People see him as a leader of the citizens. At the same time, the senators who were responsible for governing the government bodies, were present in the earlier times when the Rome was a republic. The Senate refers to the body of aristocrats. Aristocrats means the member of wealthy families of the country. Now we will talk about army of the Roman Empire. So Rome have a paid army with at least 25 years of service in army. It was the greatest individual body in the whole Roman Empire. The shoulder of the Roman army used to aggregate with government for better wages and better working condition, which sometimes leads to the revolts. The Senates hates army because of the violence, because Senates are the people from the wealthiest family who don't want any kind of violence. They are the peaceful peoples, but at the same time the ruler of Rome dynasty depends on army because it acts as a weapon for him to increase their aggression in surrounding areas. The succession of the throne in Rome was based on family descent, which means that the son of a king will become the next king, whether he is an adopted child or whether he is a natural child of the king. For example, Tiberius, who was the second longest ruler of the Roman Empire, was not a real son of Augustus. He adopted him in 29 CE. Now we will talk about the expansion of Rome. As we all know that Roman people were called barbarians. Roman people were called barbarians in their times. They used to fight here and there to increase their dynasty. They increased their empire from like Mediterranean Sea to Scotland and to southern Germany. In this process, we feel that senates lose their position as a government, the government which control the operation of the whole empire. What was the reason behind that? Because in the process of conquering or expanding their empire, most of the wealthiest people of Italy back the emperor of the Rome, and they want to be the person who governed the operation of most of the operations of the Rome. So we had talked about like emperor of Rome's, the expansion of Roman Empire, the army of Rome. Now we will talk about some social life of Rome. So as a social life, the son of a family were not allowed to live with his parents after his marriage. The second thing, the slaves were included in a family after introduction of the policy by the emperor of the Rome. The third thing, that a wife can get a property from his natal family. She can't transfer the property in the name of his husband, but she can retain the property in her name. The divorce in Rome was more a simple thing. You just have to give notice to the emperor about the dissolution of the marriage. The age of a marriage of a girl was confined to 15 to 20 years, while the age of a marriage of a man was confined to 20 to 30 years, which signifies that how the women were exploited even in Rome. It is not only a story in India of a woman by exploitation by the people. So guys, that's all about the Roman dynasty. In next class, I will talk about some facts about Iran Empire. Thank you.
Good evening to all of you.
Many people are walking in classroom without their mind. Camera is recording, tripod is there, but they are hitting tripod time and again. Despite getting on the way.
Good evening to all of you. This is Nishant Kumar in front of you, and today is our presentation session. So today I am going to speak on the 5G spectrum. All of you know that what is 5 spectrum. Recently, auction of 5G spectrum has ended, and government has earned lots of money. Actually, government did not anticipate we will earn lots of money. Actually, government has earned 1,36 crore. So it is a big amount for the government. So now I am going to what is a 5G spectrum and how will it be effective for our country. And with the help of the 5G spectrums, our work will be very fast, and any work will be done, because nowadays you can see that remote fans and remote bicycles, and nowadays if 5G will come and doctor will cure easily, and suppose patients will live far distance from the rural areas, urban areas, and after that doctor will cure very easily, and so it will be good for our country. And so now I am going to some history about the generation 1G and 2G and 3G and 5, not this time 5G. And some country has launched the 5G, but not this time. India is starting in upcoming year, and so first 1G came in India in 1918, and after that 1998 2G come, and after that in 1998 3G come, and 4G come in 2008. So of course 5G will be also takes times, because you know that 4G took that time at least 10 years. So some some people say that 5G will also dangerous for our health and dangerous for ecosystems. So many intellectual persons say it is wrong, because yes, some harm can be reached by the 5G, because you know that this time satellite is also revolving in our earth, and 5G power of 5G, ray of 5G is very high, and sometimes it can be collapsed each other, and this time that so data can be disturbed, and so but I think 5G will be good for our country, and so it depends on you, and you know that latency will also decrease, and you know that this times if you will watch the movie in this time, you saw that your movie and your game is starting buffering. So if 5G will come, so this type of the hindrance can be solved. So I am going to conclude my speech. So next condition.
Good evening everyone. I am Karuna, and today is our presentation session, and my today's topic is decentralization. So what is decentralization and how it works? Decentralization, it means that power is taken away from center and state and given to the local self-government. It means that power is not only exist only there one place like center or state. Power is distributed, and different governing bodies together they run the government. So normally there are two tier of government. First one is center and second one is state. But in our India there is a three tier of government: center, state, and third one is local self government. So what is local self government and what is of use of it? So local self government, it is the governing body who govern our nation on the local level. Like we see that on the block level, there is a gram panchayats, gram. So this all comes under block level. Sorry, local self government. So why local self government came into existence, and how it contributes in our nation. So actually since earlier it was mentioned in our constitution that there should be a local self government, and there will be a government bodies who will govern on the local self government, because we know that if we want to see development in our nation, then of course we'll have to develop our nation on the low level, and which is our villages and normally which is rural areas. So because of that, to develop that level, our government made this level, which is local self government. So there are two types of local self government. First one is on the level of rural level, and second one is on the level of urban level. So on the rural level it is known as panchayati raj, and on the urban level it is known as municipality. Actually earlier when it was mentioned in our constitution that there will be a local self government, but actually it didn't work. A lot. But after 1992, when government got to know this, that what is the problem is going on, because of that local self government is not running that much. So the problem raises that there was a three factors. First one is election, second one is power, and third one is revenue. Because elections play a major role in local self government there was a provision to elect elections for a period of time, but what was happening that there was no elections were taking place with a certain time period. There were people don't have any kind of people don't have matter about elections, that if it will be it will be happen or not. That time elections happens with a period of 1 year or 2 year, or maybe for some time, but people don't have much care about this. But after 1992 our government made strictly is a provision that there will be election held with a certain period of time. And second one is power, that government made the governing body, the local self government, but they didn't give that much power to govern that level. So if they don't have that much power, then how will they govern the government bodies? So after that they will get power. And third one is revenue, that if anyone have power but they don't have revenue, then what is the use of it? If they will not have revenue, that how they will run then how they will run the that level. Then after that government said to the states that they will have to share their revenue with the local self government. It was not clear that how much share you have to share. It totally depends on the state, that how much percentage they want to share with the local self government, whether it is 50%, 20%, 30%, means according to the population of that area. This was totally depend on the state, because earlier there was that were a state who was not letting up the local self government bodies. So because of the state it was not that much workful at that time, but now it is running with full of pace. This was the decentralization from my side. Thank you so much.
Good evening everyone, I am Malok. Today is presentation session and I chose topic for presentation is the sound of music. This topic I am related to the I am explained from the one story, and this story is real story, and most of situation related to the Stephen Hawking. He was the greatest scientist of 19th century and in the physics subjects. So she was a girl. His name of the Evelyn. When he was born in, he was good. He was good of everything, like the condition of the body and everything is good. But after some times he was lost the hearing powers. And firstly, her mothers are noticed to once day her mothers called. Please Evelyn come here, but Evelyn was not here because he was slowly he was lost the power of hearing. And in this day her mother was noticed to our my child was lost the hearing powers. So he was also go in a school, but friends and teachers are know about these problems, but Evelyn said that you are not said that's our parents, because he was feel I think he was not feel good. After sometimes I said that's our parents, so you did not say that's from our parents. So our teacher and our friends did not tell that. So after sometimes when he was 8 years old, once day teacher said that come please tomorrow you come with her parents, and the teacher get to advise to please check up your child was not hearing anything, because he was lost of the hearing powers, and you go on the any specialist of the hearing sectors and the checkup of our childs, because if you ignore this time, so after sometimes he was not do anything. So this is the right time to do to check up for the our childs. So after sometimes parents was go on a specialist, and a specialist said that this is the real problems, and this problem is they are long times have long times have these problems, and the children are not said that the what is the reason behind that. The reason is the one in ears, one nerves are damaged. So due to this reason, she was lost the hearing powers, but he was interested of music sector. We know about the listening of music is very important, and you are without hearing powers, how can you listen the music, and how can you achieve that much things in this music sectors. So but she was never give up from opportunity to do in music sectors. But in one percussionist, it means he was the most talented of the music sectors. One Ron Forrest was supported of, and he was find out the talent of this Evelyn's, and he was supported to move these sectors, and the Evelyn's, with the support of Ron Forrest, Evelyn was go on. He was learned to music. Once day he was listen the cell phone, xylophone, and he decided to I am learn the music. I am learn xylophones. After sometimes he was learn goods, and he was go in London, and in the Royal Fields he was give a performance to in London. So thank you.
So hello everyone and good evening, and today's presentation session, and this is Ravikant here, and today's topic, and I am going to talk about marriages of South Indian marriages and North Indian marriages. So we can see how differences between both marriages. So really, as we know that South Indian peoples always refers to marry with cousin, because of their thought going to careness about their daughter, and their property remains in same families. So property is a main factor of South Indian marriages. The people wants to remain their property in same family, so they are going to marry in same blood. Because if talk to you about North Indian family, then we have to think about that kind of thought, because we are not supporting that kind of ideas to go marry with same blood, because our culture is so different from South Indians. So we are really worshipping that kind of same blood relationship. So we are not going to marry, because there are many reasons behind us. Our cultures define us to that kind of marriage. We are going to, then we are not right way in our path, because we really think about our marriage, and in our family we go with same blood, and we physically in same blood. This is not right. But South Indian peoples don't think about same blood, and we are going to physically in same blood. They think about their property, their ideas, or their careness about their daughter. That's why they are going to marry with same blood, and every family wants to care our daughters, our son. So that's why they are going to marry in same blood. That after marriage they care a lot our daughter, because this is my family. So mainly South Indian people going to marry with mama's daughter, and because this is a not a long
relation and not a distant relation, but they care our daughter in good ways. So that's why they are going to marry with same blood. And as we know that India is a diverse country, and in every system have a diverse, like our culture and our worshipping styles also we are going to different. So we are different from other countries, and we are our thought also going to different because of India is a very diverse and very thinkable countries in our situation, in our living styles, and also our ideas. So every states have a different kind of ideas to think about culture, about living a style. So South Indian always wear a and that like dhoti. I don't about so like dhoti and also shirt because of they thought this is our spirituals and this is our culture, and